Hi ladies and gentlemen, before we dive into this week's Life in the Tech Lane episode, I would like to make a little disclaimer on behalf of Core Hunter and myself that the video footage for approximately 15 minutes froze due to a technical glitch, and it's a glitch that cannot be solved from my point. The audio is fine, the audio remains and works 100%, but the video feed for approximately 15 minutes freezes. Feel free to keep the tab open and listen to it as it were a audio podcast, or until it freezes. You can watch it until it freezes and then just leave the tab open. You can continue to listen to it while you work on other things. Okay? I just thought I'd put this small disclaimer in before the episode. Okay? Thank you, and I hope you enjoy.
Hey guys, Core Hunter here.
ScubaSteveYT here.
And this is episode, I believe, 3.
Yes, episode
Yes, it is
3.
indeed. It's episode 3 of the podcast, Life in the Tech Lane.
Yes. Today's magnificent, today's episode has got something a little more different to it.
Including, but not limited to, the title card that you just saw. Oh,
Godlike.
back there somewhere. No, we can't pull it down. No.
Wait. I can see it. I can see something. It says still in progress. Right.
Well, we're pulling stuff down then. Okay.
Yeah.
But no, that was made in Adobe After Effects, and this is kind of the subject of today's podcast, Adobe software in general. So, yeah.
Yeah. If you're not certain about what Adobe is as a company, think about the coding that's used for YouTube videos, or at least what was used for YouTube videos. Adobe Flash. They don't just make that, they make software that you can openly use.
Flash. I hate Flash. Adobe's also used for your kind of general day-to-day, but it's used for making movies and TV shows, but that's not the only software that's used, but that's what we're focusing on just now. Obviously, you've got your Final Cut Pro and that, but we're not going to get into that just now. But let's start by discussing After Effects. I wonder.
Yeah, for the majority, our new intro was used, well, not used, but it was, for the majority, done through After Effects.
Well, I think my channel trailer was done completely in After Effects, exported in Premiere Pro to put a song on top. Now, I believe my new video intro and the podcast intro was completely in After Effects, but using the sound in the Cinema 4D Lite plugin, which comes with After Effects.
Yeah.
But the thing, I get asked a lot, and even though I've been doing this for about a month now, I do get asked this a lot, which is really quite funny. Is what is the difference between After Effects and Premiere Pro? Because people look at it and they say, "Oh, look, this Premiere Pro, your video editing software. Oh, look, there's After Effects.
It's video editing software.
But is it?
They do two. They're similar, but they're different.
I think the way to look at it is Premiere Pro is more your editing, and After Effects is more your composition.
After Effects, it does what the title says. Once you've made a film, you can put in effects after you've edited the footage that you've recorded.
The good thing about it is you don't need footage to muck about with it. You can just bung it straight in and
With After Effects, you can create things from scratch.
I mean, I'm trying to think of an example here that was done in After Effects. Apart from my stuff, I'm pretty sure. No, I can't think actually. I know there's one trailer that was done in After Effects. Don't look as hurts. use After Effects for their lightsabers and that. For
Yeah,
rotoscoping.
yeah.
Yeah.
They use After Effects for the lightsaber effects. I've seen tutorials on
Yeah.
how that's been done in After Effects.
Do not ask us to do this because we're not by any stage that
No,
advanced yet.
no, I am nowhere near that advanced.
Plus, we don't have a green screen. We have a purple wall and a grey wall.
Yes.
Yeah. However, if you compare this to Premiere Pro, though, could you do the same things in that you could do with After Effects as a question?
No. Premiere Pro is more towards the editing of the video rather than placing effects into it.
I've noticed though that Adobe, well, not
You can
Adobe.
you can add transitions in on both, but you can't. Say for instance, you can't use a plug like the
Layers, maybe.
there was a certain set of plugins that you could use that were mainly for After Effects. The Trapcode suite.
Ah, yeah.
You know where you saw audio visualizers in forms of like particle effects and such.
Yeah, yeah.
That's done in After Effects. You cannot do that in Premiere Pro.
I've noticed that After Effects, when it's, you're previewing something, it will not do it in real time. It tends to have to render frame by frame. And
Yeah.
even then when it's rendered, it still doesn't go in real time. It tends to slow down by about 2% maybe.
Yeah.
It
matches the frame rate that you set the preview to. In After Effects, you can set the frame rate to whenever you go to preview a composition you have open. You can set the frames per second on the preview.
I didn't know this. I'm sitting there like an idiot looking at frames at like 15 frames per second, and I'm like, what the?
No, you could set it to 29.97. You can set it to 30, 25.
That's why I said it's not playing 29.97. I was like, oh god, oh guys, look at that. See, we're by nowhere. We're not masters at this.
Every day's a learning day, even for us.
Yes. Even just now, in the middle of a podcast about a topic that we're talking about, how embarrassing.
Yeah.
But I'm sweating now. Moving on though, let's actually move on to Premiere Pro because you've raised some good points about that. I mean, obviously, if we compare this to like other software, I mean, right. I'm trying to think how to word this. Okay, so we'll take like Premiere Pro, iMovie, a Windows Movie Maker. Okay, I know, right? That's going from okay. I mean, that's going down the scale in terms of years. That's getting Movie Maker the oldest, and then iMovie comes in. If you look at it, right, at the fundamental level, you can import videos into each of these, and you can add transitions between them. You can modify the volume in each of these. You can add sounds on top.
Yes.
Right? Even the Movie Maker, you could do all this. It was quite advanced for its time. That poses the question: what makes Premiere Pro different? I mean, it costs a lot more. I'll discuss that later, but it costs a lot more in comparison to iMovie, which costs about £10 if you don't buy it with the Mac. It costs about £10 in the App Store, if that.
I think so.
Something like that. So what makes it different, better, or even handier?
I would say what makes it different is because of the suite of software that it's a part of, and the way that you can export from one program in that suite and import into another.
But on that note, I could export an MP4 in After Effects and stick it into iMovie. Oh, I haven't said that though. I mean, I suppose. I've noticed in After Effects you can go file export to Premiere Pro.
Yes.
And just export into a project.
And what that does is that it converts the After Effects the After Effects composition file into a Premiere Pro project file that you could open up and then
save it and go back to After Effects with it. Yeah, file export to After Effects. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I
So
never thought of that actually.
yeah, it's just exporting and conversion between software that's all part of one big family.
Basically, you're paying for a brand, but the brand is worth it. I'm not gonna lie, the
Yeah,
brand is very high.
if
Um,
if big companies such as LucasArts and Warner Brothers can use this, then yes.
I mean, if you think about how it started though, back in the 90s, even well, was it the 80s and 90s, on the Macintosh, Run 28K as a photo editor.
Yeah,
That's how it started. And look at it now. You can't even buy it in the shops anymore. It's become that amazing.
yeah.
It's evolved from the
It's
godlike business of CDs to the digital cloud. No, but yeah,
yep, it's
it's actually
all
become that good.
online.
Mm. Yeah. Actually, I wonder if you could back up your projects to their cloud server. Hmm.
Um, I don't know. You can definitely back up settings and preferences that you have in the programs to your Adobe Cloud account.
Oh, can you?
I believe you can.
Hmm. This is not actually useful to me at all because I don't use any of our default setup just
Yeah,
now.
and you don't use it on other machines.
I can't. I cannot afford to pay for two licenses, so I've only got it on my Macintosh.
Yeah.
So that's a bit of a shame. But if you look at Photoshop, I mean, yeah, as we are saying, Photoshop's, well, that's how Adobe started, was with Photoshop. And amazingly enough, I don't know if you've noticed this, but I mean, I might be missing something, but to me, it's not really changed over the years.
It's kind of like one of the few programs that Adobe has made that they've decided, right, we've actually made it good on the first go. We just
I mean, fair
we
enough,
can
right? You
just
can,
add to it.
yeah, they have plugins all the time, but the fundamental of it, I mean, I was looking at screenshots the other day of the first Photoshop that I used, which was, I believe, CS4, and I compared it to the Photoshop CC, and yeah, there's no difference. I mean, okay, things have maybe
Yeah,
moved
they've
position a tiny
added
bit,
in new features, they've
but
changed the look a little bit, but fundamentally it's
I
the
mean,
same.
if you compare Premiere Pro CC to the Premiere Pro CS6, it's a big change.
Very big, yes.
I hated Premiere Pro CS6. No offense, Adobe. I couldn't use it. It was too difficult for me to use. But you made it a lot easier now to use. We've not talked about Edition yet, though, have we? We need to discuss Edition with them as well.
No addition. That's
Mm.
one of the biggest. It's one of the biggest programs Adobe has made
Now,
in their
when you
creative
say
suite.
biggest, are we going with program size or usability?
I'd say in amount of users it has, it's quite a relatively small program considering the amount it can do, which is a
Oh yeah,
lot.
I sat there night and mucked about with it after you told me about it, and I think I didn't sleep that night. Actually, I was too busy having fun with the pitch changer.
I
The
mean,
most basic function of any movie, of any
yeah,
editor.
I mean, you can edit individual audio tracks in it, or you can record an entire multi-track section
I'd say it was
in
real
it,
scary.
and it's
I I took I took this took about 2 hours to do, but I took a 30-second sound file and pitch changed each individual waveform
yeah,
line by line, if you get what I mean.
yes,
And it sounded like oh I yeah, it would give you nightmares, but it was really fun to do.
yeah.
Um,
It's I would say it's one of the easier programs to learn to
versus
use.
versus the Audacity though.
Versus Audacity. Audacity is the beginner software. It's the start of audio editing.
Hmm. It's a lovely piece of software though.
It is. It's incredibly simple to use.
Incredibly powerful if you know what you're doing with it.
Yeah.
However, I'm not gonna lie to you, the vocal extractor in Audition is just beautiful to use.
Oh yes. And
Oh.
the general UI of Adobe software. It just
Do you have a screenshot of this? Oh, oh, there it is. There's a screenshot. Yeah. See, this is what the UI looks like. It's very simple to use and quite, you know,
it looks clean
mm,
to a point. It does look clean.
it's lovely. But yeah, but if you're talking about Audacity versus Audition, you've also got then probably to maybe compare Photoshop to say GIMP or Aperture. I mean, I would say GIMP's more kind of along the scale of Audacity in terms of beginner. Or is there
Yeah,
something easier than that? Apart from Paint.net, which is probably really not an editing software.
yeah, it's not.
Uh, but you got to wonder though. I mean, the amount of effort these guys put into stuff like GIMP and Audacity.
It really does pay off in
Hmm.
the end when you look at the amount of users that these beginning programs have.
I've never seen any stats for that though. Actually, to be fair with you,
I've not seen any stats either. But just
let's see if I can
going
quickly.
through high school and going through college, they both use Audacity.
The college uses Audacity. I did not know this, guys.
Yes.
Sorry, I should say we went to the same college at different times. That was a bit of personal talk. I should not have come into it.
No, it's
But
okay. We're not disclaiming any names. We're not divulging
no,
any
no.
personal information. We can freely say we have been to college, the same college at individual times. But yes, the college machines, they do have Audacity on them, which I find surprising because of the type of work that I do at college. We end up using industry standard hardware and therefore industry standard software just for
But not
consistency,
Audition,
but not Audition.
which really annoys me. I mean, Audition's like to me, Audition's the go-to quick editor for audio. You know,
Yes, yeah,
uh,
it's the same here.
based on what I'm seeing in regards to Audacity, according forum users at least, there's 105,148 users on the forums.
See, that is
So that's a rough user guide.
yeah, that's a rough
User
user
base.
amount
Yeah,
for Audacity,
and that's just
and that's just what one forum.
okay. But I think we might be digressing a little bit here. So if we talk about the kind of we mentioned earlier about exporting Premiere Pro to
Well,
Audition,
exporting After
Audition
Effects,
interface, could
exporting
you
After Effects to Premiere Pro.
could you feasibly use each Adobe application with each other? Because I know that you can export, I believe, either Premiere Pro or After Effects to Audition. You
Yeah.
can in Premiere Pro, I believe. If you select the audio file, you go edit and Audition,
Yes.
I believe, and I think it saves it back into the code. Actually, I tell you what we could do. Is we could walk you through what. Well, I don't know if we have the same process for making YouTube videos, but we could kind of guide you through what we do roughly to show how these programs interlink. First of all, we start off with our video file and our audio file. Assuming we've already got the intro recorded for our channel trailers and that, and we pull it into. Well, actually, okay, let's go back even further. Why not? So you're sitting there with a blank YouTube, and you want to get your channel intro. So you go into After Effects and you make your intro for your video. Now you got two options here. You could save it as an MP4, you could export it to PR. Personally, I save it as an MP4 because I
Yeah.
can just re-import to each project. Then you open Premiere Pro, and then you would import that. You would then import your video that you recorded along with your audio, which you could edit in Audition to clean it up, and then you just Photoshop to make your thumbnails. See, it's just
Yeah.
I
Just
think one day they're going to
having
have.
just having that one package of software, it is very much
It's handy.
it's very handy. Just having that one package, you can do everything.
You know what I would
Because
love to see? Oh, sorry.
even though we're just talking about like the main um,
Oh, you
programs that are used,
touched other programs yet. There's Lightroom.
yeah,
What is there?
there's
You've got Lightroom, you've got Edge Code, Edge Reflow, you've got Dreamweaver, you've got Flash. Oh my goodness.
there's so many
In fact, I tell you what, guys, I'm
different
going to put up a
programs.
list. Yeah, I'm going to put up a list here, actually. And I'm going to read off the list to you to see what we've got. And we can maybe touch on each of these briefly if we know what we're talking about. But I'll see what I've got. Obviously, there's the famous Adobe PDF reader. I believe that came out in.
That was one of the first PDF readers to come out, I believe.
Yeah.
That's one of the first things that Adobe has
Holy
put out publicly.
Holy crunch. Right, Steve, I'm going to read off this entire list. So, I found the list here. in terms of that, you've got obviously your Adobe Reader. We just mentioned that. You've got your Flash Professional, your Flash Builder, Flash Catalyst, Flash Lite, Flash Media Live Encoder, Flash Media Server, Flash Player, Flash Time, Apache Flex, Integrated Runtime, which is Air,
Yep.
Adobe Scout. Then you've got your Fireworks, Photoshop, Photoshop Elements, Photoshop Express, which I think is for the phones,
Yes.
Photoshop Lightroom. Then you've got Captivate, Premiere Elements, which I believe is also for the phone. Premiere
Yeah.
Express, which is used on the YouTube.com. I mean, you go to YouTube.com editor, and that's Premiere Express, believe it or not.
Yes.
Premiere Pro, which is what we use. On Location, which I think has been discontinued in favor of Prelude. You've got your Shockwave, which I think is does it even still exist actually? Shockwave, does that?
Shockwave.
Is that still in production?
I think so.
Oh. You've got PostScript, which is kind of open type, which I believe is an automator, code automator. You've got
Yes.
Animation, Reflow, Edge Code, Edge Reflow, Edge Inspect, Code Fusion. I see, right? I'm going to stop there because, I mean, we'll put a link to this in the description, but it's completely endless, the list. And, I mean, I discovered the other night that I can make websites in the program called Adobe Edge Code. I don't know if you ever used that, Steve.
I've lightly touched on it.
It's rather beautiful. I made a lovely mock-up of our website in that, and I think it worked out pretty well. Yeah.
It's. I have seen it used on a professional level, and it does look really, really good.
Yeah, not anymore.
Really?
Sorry to digress here, people. I'm just reading the Wikipedia link here. As with Edge Reflow, Edge Code is available as a public preview, right? Because it's still in beta.
Of course.
Launched alongside the announcement of the Edge Suite. In November 2014, Adobe announced development of code, Edge Code, which is what I used, is discontinued. And all Adobe's efforts will go into brackets now. I don't know what brackets are, so I don't know what brackets is. I can't even find it on the internet.
Um,
On Wikipedia. I'll look it up.
if you're wanting to take a guess, brackets is probably the code name for a new program they're making.
Not quite, Steve.
It could be.
No, I mean, sorry, right.
As I said, you could guess.
I have the website here. I don't know if you want to open it on your computer or do you want me to read out to you what I just seen this website here.
Yeah, just read out.
A modern open source text editor that understands web design by Adobe. Adobe are now breaking into the open source market. Oh, Steve, you have to go to brackets.io and look at this screenshot. Guys, again, we will link this in the description for you, for those who cannot see. In fact, if I do this, I might be able to show you it. This might not work. But,
No, it won't. I've tried it and it won't work.
But we're going to screen share in case anyone's wondering. But get contents from a PSD. The extract for brackets extension lets you pull out design information from a PSD, including colors, fonts, gradients, and measurement information. It's clean, minimal CSS, very contextual code hints. That is pretty handy.
It is.
I've
seen the website myself right now, and it does look insanely brilliant.
Basically, guys, right? What's happening here is Adobe are making this web editor, kind of notepad thing, to put it simply, that will actually give you code based on your PSD. So therefore, it's a really clean way to do it. I mean, this was not part of the original podcast script, but we had no idea about this. So,
as I said earlier on, today is a learning day for us.
So for all you guys out there who do Photoshop web design, I would recommend go to brackets.io. The link will be in there. It has code folding. It's got beautification. It's got kind of emits and everything in it. Oh, wow. I think I'm out of tea. Right, brackets, make me some tea. No, okay. Well, that's not a good yet, but one day.
It's getting there.
It's getting there, right. So if we now taking into account the open source that they're going along, it makes the next kind of discussion point very hard.
Yes, it's kind of like the biggest discussion. It's kind of like the biggest discussion point of this episode.
The answer initially was yes, and then we came across this. Um, you guys can also feel free to kind of comment your opinions
Yeah.
on this question in that thing. What did they call it? The comment box. It's been a long day. Sorry, it's like kind of 9 o'clock at night here.
Yes.
But the question is really is the hang on, I need to get my notes up.
The question is this massive package of programs worth the cost? Is it worth the cost that it has right now on Adobe.com?
Well, this is what really gets to me is you pay your £50 a month. That's what it costs in the UK, £50 a month for the complete collection. And you go into After Effects and you want a particle, you want some particles. So you're thinking, right, I need a plugin for that because the default isn't that good enough.
Yeah.
And you go away and you expect to pay 60, 70 extra pound for this plugin.
The Trapcode suite in itself is a couple of £100.
I mean, Adobe should make it a bit like Blizzard, right? You pay monthly for the game, but you cannot legally make add-ons cost. It just seems a bit of a waste. I mean, isn't Trapcode as well? Isn't that like you got to pay for each update and to the,
I believe, yeah, I believe so.
It's just. But in terms of if you take it plugins and just look at the actual Adobe itself,
just look at the creative suite that they have. Yeah,
I think it might be worth the cost because you can always add programs and take programs off depending on your needs. So you can make it cheap. You can make it. I mean, the cheapest I've seen is £7 a month. That's Photoshop and Lightroom.
Yeah,
and that's we're going to equate to what, maybe $4 or $5 a month in American.
Yeah.
I can't do the rest in my head. Sorry,
let's see. $1 equals £1.67. It's Great British pounds. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, and of course down the line, if you decide that you don't need Photoshop, but you want Dreamweaver, you can add that on, take Photoshop off, and pay a couple extra dollars a month depending on the program. I think it's worth the cost.
Yeah, the entire suite.
And especially now that they're breaking into the open source market. I mean, this is a big step for Adobe.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a big step for any company that wishes to do that because the open source community is a huge one.
And I mean, the source code for this is on GitHub.
And that's basically the hub of open source programs.
That is the hub of Git.
My co-host, ladies and gentlemen.
No, but I mean, I think it's worth it. But
yes,
some people
it's
don't.
Definitely. It is definitely worth it.
Yeah. But I mean, from what I can see though, on the open source side of things, and this is what I think is fantastic, is that the only open source projects they've got are code editors, and of course the website for Brackets.io and CodeMiners, in-browser code editor. That's pretty funky.
Yes.
So Adobe seemed to get an idea that if you're doing professional stuff, like website design or videos, pay. But if you're coding a website, why pay for that?
Yeah.
You could do it in Notepad. Come on, you could do it in Notepad.
Of course.
And you could companies that are charging hundreds.
Yeah.
Why pay? It's just
it's a logical stand. It's a logical view.
I'm actually still in shock here. No, I mean, it's really good.
It is. It's incredible.
I have no idea Adobe were doing this.
I think.
But
I think if we have a look at our notes, there's not that much else we can really say about Adobe.
No, I mean, we kind of learned a couple of new things tonight. I learned about something to do with After Effects. Forgot what it was now, but I'll find it in the podcast. And we learned about Brackets.io, which is Brackets.io, guys. Seriously, check it out.
Yes, links will be in the description below to both brackets and the list of the Adobe programs that Core Hunter has read out earlier on.
And we will have links to each of our channels. I don't know if you'll be carded or not carded. It'd be like, what's that word I'm looking for? Top of the screen. Annotation.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're annotating it, but I'll be putting mine in my description because I'm not a fan of annotations at the moment.
And I'll put an annotation on my video, and your link will be in the description as well.
But Jess, thank you for joining us tonight. We hope you enjoyed this episode.
Yep.
And
We enjoy making these.
yeah, we do.
Very much so.
The blooper reel in the year will be really funny. And we will see you on the 8th of June for episode 4, where we discuss Tetris.
One of the biggest games on the planet.
So yeah, peace out, guys.
Peace out.